Welcome back. I'm Gary Parr, and you are listening to Fiber Talk, the twice weekly podcast for needlework artists. And I know I said that we weren't going to have a show Labor Day weekend, but then I went to the eye doctor and was texting Kelly Lea Teske, who is also on the screen there, while my eyes were dilating. So I'm texting her, and it's just like, we got to do a show because for those who follow us closely, we've done two shows with Kelly. And one was September 2 in 2023, and we did that with Rinda Just. And the focus of that show was macular degeneration. And we talked about some other eye diseases and issues, but the focus was that. If you have
That was a good show.
Yeah, if you have macular degeneration in your family, that's a show, September 2, 2023. That's a show to watch because Rinda has it and still stitches and has managed it. So if you have it or have it in your family, you need to be getting checked, number one, regularly. But that show, I think, will help you. And then we had Kelly back on April 6th of this year, and we just talked about glasses and going to the doctor and getting what you need for stitching. And at the time, I was headed to the eye doctor right away. And like within a couple of months, and then the eye doctor, my doctor, canceled on me and wasn't going to be around for a month. And then it was going to be in September. And so we get to the September, and he cancels again. He's not going to be until October. So I don't know. I'm not going to even speculate on why. He could be a real famous speaker for all I know, or he could have, problems in the family, but, who knows what he is. He could be some specialist who keeps getting called out of town for special eye diseases. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so I went to another doctor in the practice because it was at some point I need to go see the eye doctor, and I wanted to have this experience because you had prepped us for how to approach the doctor. And so we set up this thing. And now, first, help me out. I get all these OP people. So the optician.
Okay.
Okay, that's you, right?
Yeah. Can you're jumping right into it. Can we go back just for a second?
Sure.
So Gary,
I tend to. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And I tend to back up and want to chit chat. So I kept watching and watching ever since we had that last show, and I kept looking and zooming in to see if you got new glasses. And then I kept thinking, oh my gosh, he hasn't done a follow-up. He hasn't said anything. Maybe he got them and he hates them, and I need to know. So then I finally I always watch you guys, but I finally caught you live. And I've said this before, I shouldn't do this, but I'm driving home from work when you guys are on live Wednesday nights. So I had to pipe in and say, did you get your eye exam and your glasses? And then you told me this situation. So I am so happy that you went. I'm so glad that we're here. And last time we talked, I couldn't see you and Beth when we were talking. So I'm sitting here explaining on this stuff using my hands, trying to get my point across to you guys. So this time I'm glad I can see you.
Okay, so we'll watch the waving hands as you go. Okay.
Yes. And I took my glasses off because my non-glare was really bugging me. So
okay. That's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, all right. So help us understand, because there's so many people involved in this thing.
Okay.
So the optician, that's you, right? That's what you do?
Yes. Okay. So I'm an optician. And usually when you tell people that, they go, oh, they're so impressed because they think you're the doctor. And I think I said this last time, we could be the doctor. We should get paid as much as the doctors. But we're not doctors. So the optician, an optician mainly does glasses. A lot of them are crossover and can do contacts as well, depending on what the office, procedure or policy is. But an optician mainly does glasses and the frame fitting. A good optician is going to, there's instruments involved in reading your prescription, getting it lined up in front of your eyes. I'm not going to talk kindly about ordering online because that is such I just don't know how people do it. They're not lined up correctly. You don't know if your prescription's correct. We get a lot of people that bring in their glasses to us that want us to adjust glasses that they've gotten online.
Oh,
The frames aren't the quality, and I mean they have a good point. This just happened to me last week. A mom got really mad at me, and they are our patients, but they hadn't been to us for a year and a half, and her daughter used an old prescription, which I don't know how she did that, and ordered glasses online, and then she brought them in to us and wanted me to adjust them. They didn't fit her. So anyway, I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot more to a good optician than meets the eye. It's not just putting on frames and filling in the prescription that the doctor gave you. A good optician is going to ask questions even after you've seen the doctor, because a lot of times, and we talked about this in that last one. When was that, Gary? In the summer with
it
Beth?
was April. April.
Yeah, that a lot of
Let's back.
people.
Let's wait. Hold on a
Yeah.
second. Okay, so I think I see. This is I get this confused. So is the
Okay.
optician is who is the person? The first person I saw is the one who did the eye puff test, and then
Okay.
she had me looking through the machine at the charts, read.
Okay. 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 So let's start. So there's the actual doctors are going to be an ophthalmologist
Right,
and an optometrist.
right,
Some places will have both doctors in a clinic, and some will just have one or the other. So, an ophthalmologist is an actual MD, like a
right.
doctor. They are geared towards surgeries, cataract surgery, if you have macular degeneration, all those like really more serious things, should I say. Um, and then an optometrist is geared towards glasses, contacts, the refractive quality, and that's mainly what they've I don't know if they mainly focus in on that at school, but they do a lot more than an ophthalmologist would.
Right.
So, and if I'm being repetitive from things I said last time, I'm sorry, but
No, it's
I
fine.
would not want an ophthalmologist to do my refraction. A lot of times it's not even the doctor, it's their tech that's doing it. An optometrist, and they can follow up with diseases. So a good thing to do is just see an optometrist for your overall care. They can dilate you, they can take photos, they can take scans, they can monitor to see if you have anything else going on. If there's something that they can't treat or take care of that's more, serious than that, they will refer you to an ophthalmologist.
Okay.
Other than that, I would not go to. I would just stick with an optometrist. Unless you have something serious or some kind of disease that they're monitoring. Although some optometrists can do prescribe drops and keep some things
Yeah. Yeah.
monitored for you. Okay, so when you went in, and that would be the tech. So I think did you see an ophthalmologist or an optometrist?
The replacement doctor is an ophthalmologist. Yes. And
Ophthalmologist?
yeah, the like full blown doctor. Yeah.
Okay, so what I told you.
No, that's who I saw.
Okay,
But see, he was the replacement for my regular guy, who's an optometrist,
okay,
and
so
so
who
like
did the.
he was I think he was picking up appointments from the other
Okay,
doctor in the practice because I heard him talking while I was waiting to a couple of men out in
yeah,
the aisle, and clearly they were talking about eye disease of some kind, some
okay,
problem.
okay,
So no, he was the legit doctor, and I got him for maybe 3 minutes. He looked at my eyes.
right.
He said, "Everything's healthy," and he's out of here. Yeah.
Okay, so that falls right into my point. Now, I don't want you to be scared or nervous because I'm sure everything went well. But, but, oh God. Um,
You know.
but okay, so it was a technician that took you in and did the air puff and did the,
Okay.
whatever. Then did you then see the doctor?
Right. Right.
Okay, and then you saw a tech again, and she put the lenses in front and said which is
No,
better,
she
one
did
or
that up
two?
front. She did that up front. I saw the
Oh,
doctor, and then I went to the optician who sold me the glasses.
okay.
Right?
All right.
Yeah.
Um, I, I'm not gonna. I mean, if that's the way they do it, I hopefully they're really,
Yeah.
really well trained, and and they're whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Well,
Gary.
it was interesting. The tech then, it's that's interesting. That's why I wanted to talk to you to get this
Yeah.
all in perspective, and for
Yeah.
others who experience this, not for
Right.
me, too late for me,
Right.
but for others. So she's the first person I had, and I brought along, like you said, I brought along
You're
my
stitching.
stitching, I brought my
Hmm.
magnifier. I mean, I brought my hoop, everything. So I had this tote bag, my LL Bean tote bag, full of stuff, And
Were
so
they
I
were they amused? Were they amused? And
she I this is where I give her credit
yeah.
because I said to her, look, this is going to be weird to you, but I
Hmm.
said I do needlework, and I said and I also refurbish antique sewing machines. So I said I do a
Hmm.
lot of close-up work on small stuff, and I want to get a second pair of glasses to help me deal with that.
Hmm.
And she it was just no reaction whatsoever. So she,
Good.
I because sometimes you can tell like they're going, wow, this guy, he's weird,
Yeah.
or they're interested. But no, she was just completely neutral. It's just okay, that's fine, whatever you need. But when I first met her, I had my tote bag, and I started this is what I want to accomplish. Now, I did not
Hmm.
follow your instructions to let them know ahead of time that I
Yeah.
wanted to do
Yeah.
this. And I
Yeah.
should have done that because it did take longer.
Yeah.
And I think longer than I was planned for in the big schedule. So I should have done that.
Well, that's their
Marga
fault.
made the appointment for me, and I forgot to tell her, and blah, 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 blah. But I think that's an important thing that you said in that last show we did,
Hmm.
to let them know that you're not just in for a routine run through, that you want to talk about glasses for close-up work, needlework, whatever it is you want to use as your description. Because I have to say that halfway through what she did for me, I was kind of ready to apologize for not letting them
Oh,
know up front because it was
yeah.
taking time.
Okay.
And
Can I interrupt you for a
yep,
second, Gary? Because as you're telling me, I want to be clear. So did you have the technician that did the like, what's better, one or two, and then you had somebody different that did the glasses fitting? Or was it
the,
the same girl?
no, the glass fitting was the person who sits out at the desk out in the lobby area with all the
Okay.
glasses around her.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you actually saw three people. You
right.
saw the doctor, then you saw the technician,
I
and
saw
then you saw the optician.
the tech,
Yeah.
then the doctor,
Okay.
then the
Okay.
optician. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So how was the optician that actually did the fitting?
I'm going to hold
No?
that story. I'm going to hold that story.
Okay.
That was, yeah, that
Okay.
was not, we worked it out, but
Okay.
there's
So
a
let
story there.
so you got really so good for you. You did get a good technician.
I
So
got
I'm yeah.
I got a wonderful technician
Yeah, good.
because when she she wanted to do the eye puffs, and that was outside in a little cove, you know,
Right.
and I started in because I wanted to establish what I wanted to accomplish right out of the gate. And she interrupts me and she says, "Yeah, we'll get to that. Let me just get the eye puff thing done here,
Yeah.
and then we can
Yeah.
move into a room where we can talk." So
Yeah.
because it was out in the open, so then I
Right.
appreciated that. She didn't want to have a
Right.
discussion out where everybody could hear.
Right.
An interesting thing, and I wanted to ask you about this. The they had two eye puff cataract stations, and one had a sign on it that you couldn't use because the glue was drying for the headpiece. They had to reattach
Okay.
the headpiece to the machine. And I said, wow. I said, I hope that's not Elmer's glue. She didn't get the joke.
Oh.
Whatever. But she said that it was a fallout, one of the fallouts from the pandemic, because they've had to use alcohol and other sanitizers so much that
Hmm.
it gets in the cracks and that it had eaten away and that piece had fallen off. And she said they have chairs all over the place that they've had to clean so many times with abrasives and alcohols and
Hmm.
all kinds of things that the vinyl or leather or whatever is cracking and they're going to have to replace a bunch of chairs. And I thought, wow, the hidden expense.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So
I mean, yeah, it was, but they should, I don't know why that would have been more so during the pandemic, because that stuff should be cleaned off all the
yeah,
time, every day between each patient anyway. So unless they were using a heavier duty, cleaner or something,
I
just
got
to make sure.
yeah, I
Yeah,
got the
probably,
impression that they were,
probably.
yeah, going over the
Yeah,
top. And
yeah,
this is a big operation that it's one
yeah,
of those where the cataract surgery happens. You know, it's a little
yeah,
cataract
yeah,
surgery factory there. It's a big operation, so
yeah.
it wouldn't
Well,
surprise me. Yeah.
yeah, we did find, at least in the glasses department, we were kind of using a spray, like a little spritzer spray that had alcohol in it, to clean off the frames and lenses when someone was picking them up to dispense them to make sure they were. And the alcohol was cracking and crazing some of the frames to the
Oh,
point where it would crack while we were dispensing them and
oh
the lens
no.
would fall out. So we had to end up going to just using the alcohol little wipes,
Uh-huh.
just to do like little spot parts instead of getting
Wow.
alcohol. Yeah, so yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine.
Yeah. But
So
it was I just started in a place of that size, adding up the hidden cost
yeah.
that
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
And they were still they still were using alcohol wipes in packages.
right, right.
And I thought, boy, I know they're not expensive individually, but to buy them by in quantity, I mean that's got
Hmm.
to add up at some point.
Yeah, it all
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
That's why we don't have candy out for our patients anymore, because it all just adds up and it's too expensive. No, seriously,
Right.
that was the one thing that our patients were upset about is when we took the pens away and the candy. So we finally brought the pens back, our monogram pens, but they're not getting the candy.
Yeah. Well, it's and it's just we don't see that. The normal consumer
Yeah,
just does not see
yeah.
those expenses that
Hmm.
result from something like the pandemic. And
Well,
you know,
Gary, you know what? There's three of us opticians, and so I've been there 9 years. And at the time, probably only about 5 or 6 years ago, they replaced our chairs with really nice, like really comfortable, nice chairs with an upholstered seat. And all three of us opticians wore out the like seat part, and they looked horrible. Well, they were so expensive. So for about the last 2 years, I actually went in and patched them with fabric. And they lasted for a little bit, and then finally we just said finally they broke down and it was on the list to get new chairs. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, even stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We don't think
So
about that just as
yeah,
somebody who shows up once a year. You don't think about those expenses.
right,
Why does it cost so much to go to the eye doctor? Well,
right.
yeah, you got
Right.
you got the whole medical and eye exam part, but then
Yeah,
there's all these other expenses that.
yeah.
No, I mean it's like a local needlework store. Why is a skein of DMC more expensive at a needlework store than
Hmm.
it is at Joann's? Well,
Hmm.
yeah, because they got to pay for this stuff. It's the
Right.
overhead. Yeah, yeah.
But the other thing is too, Gary, as far as maybe I'm jumping the gun, but like the lady that brought in her frames from online, um, and she couldn't figure out why I didn't want to adjust them. And I kind of said, there is something to say about customer service as well if you get your glasses from us, because yeah, it is more expensive. But most of the frames that we carry, if they break them, usually it's manufacturer's defect. But if somebody comes in with, their dog chewed them or they run them over with their bike or something, most of the time, I mean, we'll say, hey, this isn't really, but we'll do it. You're not going to get that online.
Right.
Clearly you can't even take them someplace to be adjusted almost. So, I mean, you do kind of get what you pay for. And
Yeah.
there's something to be said about bringing in your frame 2 or 3 years later broken and being able to get it replaced at no charge,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, and that I mean that's a whole that's a whole thing. That's when I buy a bike. The trend in the bicycle world is more online purchase, and
yeah,
then you can then take it to a store and they'll adjust it. I'm not doing that.
yeah.
I'm not going to buy online and then go to a store and say, "Hey, will you adjust
Hmm.
my bike for me?" I don't think that's
Yeah,
right.
well, that's
See,
their time and labor
right?
for something that they, didn't make any money on. And you hate to sound like that. And a lot of times we do it because, we're just nice.
Yeah.
But I think because I've been doing it for so long, 38 years, I'm getting to the point where, I'm tired. I don't want to try to adjust your frames that I might break, you know?
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
No, I mean, it's this
Well,
whole online thing is just, I don't, I struggle with it because, like, I buy my bikes from a bike store, and then when I need to have an adjustment, I
hmm
go to that bike store, and we have a relationship, and we work,
right,
and
right,
sometimes
right.
there's no charge, and sometimes there's a charge,
Yeah.
but whatever. But
Well,
I go ahead.
yeah. No, I was going to say, as long as people understand that. I mean, if there is, it is nice. I mean, and I hate to say it, but I mean, there are some patients that we have, like, right, you have a relationship with. They're longtime patients and you don't mind doing it for them. But a lot of times, you either I would get held up or your bike person might get held up helping you with something that you bought online.
Right.
And our patients that were scheduled to come in are waiting and
Yep.
don't get helped because I'm helping someone that bought something online.
Yep.
And that's not really fair either,
No. No.
to the consumer that's
Right.
coming in. So yeah,
No. Well,
that could go down a whole nother rabbit hole,
oh yeah.
Gary.
But that's the thing with my bikes. If I have an event on the weekend and I got a problem, I take
Yeah,
it into the shop and I say, hey, I got an event on the weekend. Can you fit me in somewhere? They always do
yeah,
because there's stickers on the bike, and I do my
yeah,
business there.
right.
And an online bike, well, maybe we can, maybe we can't.
Yeah, yeah.
And I go back to that. I'll never forget. I've told this story a number of times. I was in a needlework store on a Saturday, really busy store, and at a really busy time, and they took time to help this lady uh, with her. She had a painted canvas, and they helped her spec everything, and so on and so forth. And so she bought the canvas, and I don't know whatever else. But then she announces to her friend, "Okay, now let's go to Joann's and get the threads."
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You can't.
yeah.
You can't
Well,
do
and
that.
there's so many other ways to look at it though too, but you kind of just nixed about what I was going to say is that sometimes you might help somebody and so if they didn't get their glasses from us, but they're like, "Wow, you did a good job. That was so nice of you. I'm going to come back here next time
Yeah.
to get my glasses." So that's the other side of it. But yeah, that would have that would have been
Oh,
hurt. I mean, I
oh.
wouldn't even do that to somebody. I would, and if I did, I wouldn't say it out loud.
Right. You wait till you
I
get in the
wouldn't
car.
announce it. Yeah.
Yeah, you wait until you get in the car.
Yeah.
I almost said something, and it wasn't my store. I almost
Yeah.
said something like, "Lady,
Yeah.
really? I've been here a
Right.
while, and you just got helped for
Yeah.
free
Yeah.
for the last
Exactly.
hour, and now you're going to go
Yeah.
buy, like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that kind of thing. But so I back to my thing. So it's the tech. So because I made a
Yeah.
comment while we were going through the process to the person, and I really wish I had her name. I'll just call her Sue, just because it's
Okay.
easier. So I
Okay.
made a comment to Sue that I said there must have been a whole class at school on this. And she said, "Well, I didn't go to school." She says, "Most of us never go. The doctors train us." She said, "I worked up front. I started working up front, answering phones and appointments and stuff. And then she said, I wanted to learn how to do this. And so the doctors trained me." And I was kind of surprised at that. But she said most techs were like that. So I was wondering if that was your experience.
Well, I mean, I I moved around a lot, so I've worked in a lot of offices. And I think I only worked at one place that was kind of like a 1 hour place. Otherwise, it's all been private offices. Um, Even if some offices do like to train you because then they can train you the way they want it done.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way they want it done. And not that there's a million different ways to do it, but um, now I was trained by an office that actually happened to be like a schooling. That's what they did. This was in, oh, it was in Illinois, Quincy. It was in Quincy,
Oh,
Illinois.
okay.
And it was like for 3 months, I drove home crying every night. It was intense. Um, but, but I think it depends on who's training you too. If they just want to train you to get you going so you can do the job, or if they really want you to know what you're doing. And
Yeah.
also if the person really is into it, if it's just a job for them, or if they really have interest in it and want to do. So there's both schools of that. Now even though I was trained by that office, I went back, and you can get certified to be an
Okay.
optician or a technician. I was certified as both. So that is intense studying, and you have to get the certificate. Most, uh, it's state by state. So I don't know. Some states you don't have to be certified. Um, if you are certified, you get paid a little bit more. But I'm glad I'm certified. Um,
Yeah.
I've worked with people who aren't. Um, and I think there is value in the education and the training.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, both of those.
Well, she
Yeah,
was thorough.
yeah.
She was all about it.
I would say she must really enjoy her job and care about it. So
Yeah.
that's basically, what it's going to be, because you can do the training on your own. I mean,
Hmm.
if you get in there and somebody trains you, the office trains you, you can go in. There's all kinds of resources, like the American Optometric Association, where you can go in and take extra classes or just
Hmm.
learn whatever you want to. So, yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, she
But
was all about it. Yeah. It
yeah,
was.
it's actually a really good field to be in. And the thing is, it's really hard to find good people. So if anybody's interested in doing that, or your kids are, I would say go for it, because it is a good field.
Yeah.
It's a really good field to
Yeah.
be in, and people
Yeah.
are needed.
Well, she was certainly the most thorough that I've ever had. I
Okay,
would
I
suggest. I mean,
I
she
can't
was.
wait for you to get to the optician.
Oh, yeah, that story. So,
Okay.
okay, it's just checking my prescription, just checking my glasses and seeing
Mm-hmm.
where my eyesight is at. And so I'm sitting in the thing and I'm looking across the room at the TV screen with the chart on it. And she said, read the smallest line you can read. And so I read the smallest line. No, she said, put your chin down.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't. I could read like the second line.
You
Everything
were
else was
re you were
blurry.
reading like this through the
I
middle of
was,
your lens.
and she said
Yeah.
no, and so I moved my head up and basically found the mid range in my progressive lenses, and I could
Mm-hmm.
read the smaller line.
Mm-hmm.
No, she said, put your head down, put your chin down.
That
She wanted me looking through the top of the lenses.
That was a really good catch on her part,
Yep.
Gary, because it was a really good catch on her part.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So then and it was like, lady, I can't. It's not
yeah.
working. I need this. She said that I should have had my glasses changed the last time, a year more, plus that I was in. Uh, she said that whoever did it, she said I would bet my paycheck that they didn't catch you raising your head
Hmm.
to find the right place in your lens to read. And she said I would bet my paycheck that, because she said that when they sit at the table and they're making notes, their back is to me.
Hmm.
And she said,
Yeah.
but she turns around to watch me, and and
Hmm.
and she said you should have had your glasses changed the last time, or maybe even the time before, but they didn't catch it. And I said, so I've been adapting all this time. She
Hmm.
says, yeah, you have. She says, you've been adapting, and these new glasses will be a whole different experience. I was
Well,
just kind of stunned. Yeah.
hey, Gary, I'm almost like giddy, happy for you that you had a good technician, because, I mean, this would be a good thing for people to really understand and realize, is that if you don't have somebody that's paying attention to you like that, you need to get their attention and say, hey,
Yeah.
can you actually watch me and see what I'm doing? Because again, most people just feel like they're just flying by the seat of their pants when they get in there, and they don't feel like they can take the time to go, hey, wait a minute, one or two, two was better, but it still wasn't good. I'm just really happy that you got a good technician. I feel
I
I feel
I
I
am
feel a
too.
lot better about your exam,
Yeah.
knowing that,
Well, and
yeah.
and I'm happy because of that for my everyday glasses, but I'm also happy that the first time I went in with your advice in my head,
Hmm.
that I got someone. I mean, she dug in. She
Yeah.
when I told her what I needed to do and what I wanted, she literally, I could tell she made a mental shift from get this guy in and get him out and get the next one
Yeah.
in to stop everything and let's take the time and do this right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could just feel it. And then she dug right in on lenses for stitching to get it
Yeah.
right. And it was,
So,
it was pretty cool, actually.
so
Yeah.
did they give you a stronger ad power for your
Yeah.
stitching glasses?
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
I
good. That
actually,
was the one thing I
I
was
actually
worried
brought
about.
I brought my prescription here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's my everyday lenses. The reading is the ad is 0.225 or
Okay.
2.25, and then for the trifocals 2.75.
Oh, good. Good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, there was definitely an
Yeah.
ad.
Yeah.
So okay, so she's so then I started to appreciate these shallow lenses that I have and
Yeah.
how little space I have in the three
Hmm.
levels.
Right.
Because when now she's
In
got me
in
moving
your progressive, you're talking about your
right
everyday
in my
progressive.
progressives,
Right.
because now she's got me moving my head up and down and seeing,
Yeah.
and then I'm seeing how little space there is in these lenses
Hmm.
for magnification. So then I knew I was going to get glasses that had a deeper lens
Hmm.
anyway, because I felt like I needed to do that. But now, at that point, I was convinced that I was not going to replace them with shallow lenses again. I was going to get something that had some depth to it, so I'd have more area at each of the
Hmm.
levels.
Now, Gary, this is the only thing I'm going to tell you to watch for because okay, if you're going to a deeper frame and your prescription changed, your most people when they change like that don't like their new glasses for the computer anymore. They complain about
Oh,
it. But I'm going to tell you, the glasses you have on right now work for the computer?
yeah, yeah.
Wear those.
Well, okay,
Don't work. Your new glasses aren't going to work. You're not going to like them for the computer. They're
okay,
going to be great. I mean, you'll be able to use them, a little bit, but for long, I mean, I wear my old glasses at work on the computer because it's more
okay,
comfortable for me because my prescription changed. And that is, so once you go stronger, that's bringing things up closer. So my glasses that aren't strong enough anymore are like perfect for the computer.
okay. All right. Well,
So,
I'm
yeah. So
keeping these no matter what. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
don't let that scare you off. If you're more comfortable with those, I mean, try the new ones. If they work, do it. But if those are more comfortable, then do
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
But wear your stitching glasses. I can't wait for you to get them.
Okay, so all right, so then so she goes through the whole thing for my everyday glasses. And then she says, "All right, let's deal with your trifocals." And I told her what I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
she said without any prompting, she said, "So you want lined trifocals?" Yes, Kelly says I want lined trifocals. That's what I want.
Okay. Now, Gary, let's set the picture for everybody. Okay. I'm working. I'm working, and my phone's sitting there, and I see Gary Fiber Talk pop up. I'm like, oh Lord. Gary's like, I'm at the eye doctor. So I was like, okay, I'm available. So if I had a patient sitting there, I'd go, hang on just a second. And I got to tell somebody what trifocal they need. So I just assumed you would have done the 8x35. Did you not watch our video before you went, our recording
Okay,
before you
okay,
went?
that comes at the end, all right?
Right.
So she says, "All right, let's." She said, I have to go get a ruler." And she said, "So set up your hoop." So
Mm-hmm.
I brought the clamp that goes
Yeah.
on the edge of the table, and I set it up, and I sat in the chair. She came back then, and she says, "All right, put it where you normally have it," and I did, and she measured that,
Mm-hmm.
and then she got out the steampunk glasses,
Yeah.
whatever they're
Yeah.
called, with
And
a
had you
drawer full
try
of
it.
lenses,
Yeah.
and I said, "Holy smokes! I didn't know." Yeah, she says it's kind of a
Yeah.
lost art doing this because
Mm-hmm.
we rarely use them. As a matter of fact, she says I'm gonna have to take a minute to clean the lenses because they probably haven't been used
They
in
were,
forever.
yeah.
And so she put together in this steampunk lens frame thing. She put some lenses in there, and then she said, "All right, now look at the needlework." Holy smokes, Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
There it was.
Yep.
Clear as day, sharp as a tack. I'm just sitting there looking at it, no magnifier in between, nothing. There it was. I just about
Were you
applauded right
excited?
there. It
Yeah.
was it
Oh,
was
good.
cool. It was
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
because there it
Yeah.
was, no magnifier, no monkeying around. There it was,
Right.
and then I took it's the one I have with a stick that goes up and down to adjust height. So I started
Yeah.
moving it up and down. And I had a good 6 or so inches that I could move that up and down, and it was still in stitchable focus.
Wow. That's yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, Gary, I did bring my trifocal here. Oh, you're not talking about your trifocal yet, are you? Do you want me to
No,
wait?
this is what she was putting together for the trifocal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if can you
Yeah, I see them. Yep.
can you see it? Do you think everybody else can?
Yeah.
So when I told you to get the 8x35, this mid, am I in the screen?
Yeah. Oh, here I can.
This mid is 8 millimeters deep, and then it's 35 millimeters wide. I'm backwards. That gives you deeper. An average trifocal is going to be 7 by 28 millimeters. So you can see the 8x35 is giving you a millimeter deeper in that mid range, and then you're getting wider. Okay,
Yeah.
you can flip me back over because I'm not enjoying just looking at myself. Okay, so
Okay.
Gary.
So
Okay,
okay.
so can I just
Okay,
show
so
you?
we go through this process, and she's done
Yeah.
with me. Okay, and
Yep.
I'm just blown away. And then so now I go to the doctor, and he just does like I said, he was with me in maybe 3-4 minutes tops, and everything's healthy. You're good. He looks at the prescription. He says, "What are you doing here with 2 prescriptions? Or looks like you need 2 separate prescriptions."
Yeah.
And I explained what I was doing. He says, "Okay, all right." And he writes 2, and he marked the one for trifocals,
Mm-hmm.
so that there wouldn't be any question. Now I go out to the optician,
Okay.
and
Oh boy.
yeah, okay. Now Marga just got glasses. I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months ago, something like that, and she just raved about the optician. We use the same place, same
Okay.
doctor.
Yeah.
She just raved about the optician, and she said, "I hope she's working today because she was fantastic." Well,
Mm-hmm.
she wasn't.
Oh boy.
And Marga had gone back to pick up her glasses, and the one that was there yesterday was the one that was working. So she caught both of them. And
Yeah.
the one I got, lazy, disinterested, just buy the glasses and get out of here. I want to get back to whatever's on my screen. You could just tell. It
She
was
was
just
shopping on Amazon.
something. Yeah. She just, it was
Okay.
just so. Okay, so Marga she was waiting in the waiting room, so she had pre-selected a couple of glass frames for me for my everyday glasses,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't work out, but we found one that would work. Well, we were hoping this lady who should know the array of lenses she had or frames that she has. I mean, it was all she could do to help us, and
Yeah.
and so we found a frame that worked. I mean, she actually did come up with the one that worked. But you could just tell it was just, I really,
Yeah. So is it open? Is your regular pair open on the bottom and a little bit
no,
deeper?
no, I got
Is it
like
a
you
full
have
frame?
full frame, yeah. I went
Okay.
with full
Okay.
frame. That's the first time I've had a full frame, so it's going to be weird
Okay.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but she just really, and then I said, all right, now then I want lined-trifocals for this other pair. And what I'm trying to do through this whole process is I'm not trying to come in and say, Kelly told me to tell you this.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Because I sure wouldn't like that. Yeah.
I'm really tap
Right.
dancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm saying, like I said to the technician, I said, this is what I do is this podcast, and we've had this person Kelly on who has done a couple of shows about selecting eyeglasses for stitching. And I said, and so I'm coming to you with some knowledge, but I'm coming to you with some knowledge so I can ask intelligent questions to get your
Right.
advice. I'm
Oh,
trying
that's good. Yeah.
I'm trying
Yeah.
not to say, Kelly said this and this is what I
Yeah.
want, and I don't want to hear what you
Yeah.
have to say. I'm
Right.
not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
because it's not smart in the first place. You never know.
Right.
You just
Right.
never know. So I'm playing. I'm tap dancing with this optician too, and we get to the trifocal part. Oh, and I said to the doctor, because I didn't fully understand what 8x35 meant. Okay,
Yeah.
I just didn't fully understand. I said to the doctor, I says, "What does 8x35 mean to you?" Nothing. He said, "I don't know." He
That's
said,
because he's an
"Right,
ophthalmologist. Yeah.
right."
Yeah.
He said, "I
Okay.
don't know." So then I get to the optician. I said, "All right, now, so trifocals," and I said, "I'm told that I want 8x35, whatever that means." Well, she said, "That's not normal. We never do that." And I said, "Well," and the way she presented it gave me the impression that I needed to have a different frame to hold 8x35 lenses.
Yeah. No,
Like
not.
there was a special frame that would hold bigger. And finally she said, "Oh, no, it'll work in any frame. It doesn't matter." And then she
Yeah.
drew something and she showed me, like your trifocals, how it would be on
Mm-hmm.
the lens.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, well, so if it doesn't matter, if all the frames, then I said, then I want 8x35. Well, that's just
Mm-hmm.
not normal." And then I said, "Well, I have this friend that tells me
Yeah.
that I need 8x35 for stitching, so that's what I want."
Right.
It
Yeah.
was like,
Good.
okay, I'm done with the tap
Good.
dance.
Right. Good.
Give me this.
Good. Yep.
Shut up, lady, and give me this.
Yep. Yep.
It was
Yep.
just, and she's just so indifferent that it was just
Yeah.
really getting under my skin. So I said, "Well, I want eight." I said, "If they'll fit on lenses that fit in this frame, then I want 8x35." And I said, I really, these glasses aren't going anywhere. I'm not going to be seen with them in public or anything. I said, I just want the cheapest lenses you have. I said, "Do you have," again, now I'm back to playing the game.
Yeah.
I said, "Do you have just like some discontinued closeout lenses that
Yeah.
are in some drawer somewhere?" Because I said, "I really just don't need $200 lenses
Right.
for this." "Yeah, we do, but they won't be warranted." I said, "I don't care."
Yeah.
I said, "It doesn't matter to me. They're just going to be used for needlework and working on sewing machines." I said, I'm not going to war
Yeah.
with these things here. I'm not going to go play football or anything. Eh, So finally, she begrudgingly went to the drawer with all the discontinued lenses. She says, there won't be much of a selection. It's just like there was
Yeah.
no
Like.
warranty. There won't be.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. See, and then she comes up with four. And one, the one that I got is actually, I wouldn't even mind wearing that in public.
Does
They
it
were,
have nose pads on it, Gary?
yeah,
Or is it
yeah.
plastic like this?
No, nose pads,
Okay.
adjustable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Yep. Okay.
And we both of them have adjustable nose pads. But
Okay.
it was
Good.
like, what is the big deal? And she kept saying, and then she writes on the order form, "No warranty." I don't care. I just don't care. I couldn't get that through her. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It just simply doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, now if you break them, you can't replace them. You can't even get them online. They just don't exist anymore. Okay, fine, fine. That's the risk I'm taking. She just couldn't cope with it. So I got her to do that, and then she marked up. She put the felt pen and put the dots where my eyes were,
Mm-hmm.
and did all the measurements and everything. And we finally got out of there with with
Okay.
with the orders placed. But she was the first two I just sailed through. It was just perfect. And then we get to her, and it was just this roadblock. And all I could just tell Margaret was sitting there going, "Oh, I wish the other lady was here. She was so helpful."
Oh. Yeah.
Margaret said she was getting glasses out, and Margaret put them on. "No, not those. Those aren't going to work for you. You try these," and back and forth. And they really, really helped her out a lot. And this,
Hey, Gary.
just,
Um,
ugh.
how long is it going to take for you to get them? A couple weeks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do you know the name of the optician that Marga liked? Do you know their
Yeah,
name?
we have, yeah.
Oh, you know what you could do is when they come in, call and say, "I would like so and so to dispense and fit my glasses when I
Oh,
pick them
okay.
up. Can you let me know when she'll be there? Or, can I schedule time with her?" And then they'll let you know you don't need to schedule a time, or, I mean, it depends on her. She might want to, or, find out when she goes to lunch. But if Marga really liked her that much, then I would make sure that she adjusts them and dispenses them for you so that they're fitting correctly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to do that. If the other girl, I mean, that happens in our office all the time. I mean, people, I always say this, everybody thinks they want Richard, my coworker, because he's been there so long. And then
Uh-huh.
but you know what? When he's not there, you know what I tell him, Gary? I don't know why you want Richard. I'm cuter and funnier. But, and I do a better job. But in this case, if that other girl really does do a better job, then you want
Yeah.
to ask for her. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when we were waiting, when we first got there, we were waiting, and we could see the optician area. I leaned over to Margaret and I said, "Is that the one you like?" She just shook her head. No,
Nope.
no.
Nope.
And yeah, so
Okay.
so she had both. So that was my experience. So now we'll see about when the
Okay.
glasses come back.
So can I jump into my
Oh yeah.
optician role for a quick? Okay. So number one, when you get them, I'm going to be watching you on video. I'm going to be watching closely. Can you wear them one day when
Yeah.
recording, and show us how you're stitching with them? And then if it's not working for you, I can try to guide you.
Okay.
Okay. So I have mine on. So let me tell you, this is what I want you to be prepared for and expect. The whole time I'm sitting here with mine on talking to you, you're blurry. That line is right up underneath my pupils. Can you
I see
see
it.
or not?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. So I'm catching a little bit, but this top is really more for distance. Like if I look across the room, it's better. Looking at you, that's perfect. Right there. I'm in that 8 millimeter mid range.
Okay.
So that is going to be like if you were my chart, okay? Like if you're the chart,
Yeah.
that's going to be that mid. You're going to be able to just move your head and see that. Then when you look down, I was all prepared with my stitching.
Look at you.
Um and my little hoop, this is like 36 count. I don't stitch that small. But then no matter where you hold that or where you showed her that you held it,
Yeah.
then that's going to be in this bottom part. You should be able to drop your eyes and look up, catch that for your chart. And then, if you're talking to Margaret or watching TV, then look through the
And
top.
that's over the
You,
top. Yeah.
yeah, you might have to move your head a little bit, but the idea is that width then is giving you a little bit more, you don't have to move your head as much as you do with your progressive that you wear.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have a little bit more range to shift your eyes a little bit back and forth. That's why you wanted the wider one.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. No, once I
So,
understood that, I could see why you
yeah,
said 8 by 35. Yeah.
yeah. So, just play around with it a little bit. And the key too is with your nose pads. See, mine doesn't have nose pads. You know why? Because I measured them myself and I'm really good. So I knew exactly where I was putting it.
Okay.
But
All right.
if you have nose pads, then you can move it up and down and get it set
Yeah.
exactly where you want it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I get these lined trifocals that have the magnifying section right there in the
Yeah.
bottom third, is it going to be an adjustment because the line is there for each of the
Um,
areas? Is it going to take me a minute to get used to that?
I mean,
Or
just a minute. I mean, if you're used
okay.
to wearing a progressive, it's going to be a little bit different, but you're used to having to find the sweet spot in your lens
Right.
to
Right.
see what distance you're looking at. I mean, I'm truly hoping, Gary, that you just go, oh my God, wow. Oh, wow, there's that. And here's my stitching. I
Yeah.
mean, so instead of having all these little parts to adjust
Right.
to in your progressive, I
Right.
mean, yeah, the biggest thing is if you get up and walk around, you're going to see that line. Or,
Mm-hmm.
I see it now too, just looking up and down. But if you just move your head, you can get into those magnifications. And it's so, like you said, when you had the steampunk glasses on and you look down, you're like, oh, like it
Yeah.
was a whole
Oh
new
man.
world.
It
It'll
was
be
like
the same with your trifocal.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So
So because I
was it a
wondered.
deeper, did you get
Yeah.
a deeper frame?
I
I mean,
think
it's
it
not
is
short.
deeper. Yeah. I think it
Okay,
is
it's not
deeper.
short. Like, okay, all right. Yeah, you should be fine.
It's not shallow like
Like
these.
that
No.
one. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
It's more like yours. Yeah.
Yeah, you should be good.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you, Gary. I
Well,
can't wait.
I mean, huge thanks to you because I at least I went in with some knowledge, and so I knew where it needed to go. But when she
Yeah.
started doing everything the way you had talked about, I thought,
Yeah.
okay, I got the right person. I'm in the right
Yeah.
place, and this is going to go fine. But no, I mean, a huge thanks to you because I mean, I was informed enough that
Hmm.
I couldn't just get railroaded through, and that
Well, yeah.
when my eyes are getting dilated, I thought, and you said something in a text about make sure to get 8 by 35. And oh man, that's right. I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. If folks could have seen me, my eyes are dilating. I'm sitting in the eye exam chair, and I'm texting Kelly, and my vision's getting worse by
It
the
doesn't work.
second.
It doesn't work. Well, I told the doctor I work with on Fridays, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna be a little bit late tomorrow." I said, "Yeah, I'm doing a follow up with Gary. He's at the eye doctor today." So we were talking about it, and she goes, "Why are you doing a show tomorrow? He hasn't even gotten them yet. He hasn't been able." She goes, "How do you know they're going to work for him?" I said, "Oh, well, we'll do a follow
Well,
up and see if they work for him."
yeah, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll do another show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
So, yeah, good.
anyway, so this was yeah. So thanks to you for
So that's done and over with.
yep.
So then after you get those, then you can tell, I think Jennifer wears her readers. I think Cindy does too, but
Yeah.
dear Beth, you can tell how great the trifocal is so she can not have to do her readers over her
Right.
progressive, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be
Yep.
showing off. You'll be showing
Yeah.
off to everybody, Gary.
Well, I'm anxious to get them because when I looked through
Yeah.
those test glasses and looked at that needlework with no magnifier, it was like, oh, holy
Yeah.
smokes! I didn't even know this could happen.
Oh gosh, well, we're all going to be on pins and needles to see what happens when you get those
Yeah. We'll
glasses.
see.
So
Yep.
yeah, you'll have to let us know.
Yep. So huge
Yeah.
thanks, and yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the story. Thanks for making time today because I just had to tell the story and
Yeah.
share it with you and get your reactions. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
thanks for having me on, Gary. You know how much I love to be on here and chit chat. Hey, I told you, can we tell everybody what I'm doing?
Oh
Do you mind?
yes, you bet.
Oh
No,
yeah.
do it.
Okay. So because I told Gary that this has been a dream of mine for 30 years, and I don't know if he didn't believe it or just thought it was just outrageous, but I've been
No, I
wanting
just
to get.
thought it was interesting. You'd waited 30 years to act on a dream. You know.
Well, it sometimes it takes that long, so don't give up on your dreams. Next weekend at the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show in Madison, Wisconsin, at the
Okay,
Alliant Energy
dates. You
Center.
can't just say next weekend. Dates.
Next weekend, September 5th, 6th, and 7th is the show. It's a really, really good
Okay.
quilt show. And on Thursday, the 5th, I'm doing a lecture, which is Bring More Flowers. So anybody who knows or follows, my Instagram, it's featuring the quilt that I have been working on for my son, Sam, who passed away a couple years ago. And the whole lecture is about grieving and how stitching gets us through and kind of coming in out the other side with a lot of beauty and joy. And so I'm hoping that I can really touch some people and help them if they're struggling, because boy, it's tough.
Yeah.
And stitching is such a great, I don't know. I mean, us stitchers know. So, and then on Saturday, I'm doing My Life in Stitches, the Yo-Yo Sisterhood. And it's about my grandma teaching me how to sew when I was little. And we started with yo-yos and fabric yo-yos and all the things that you can make with those. So
Okay.
thanks for letting me say that. I'm
Yeah.
really excited about it. So
Okay. So this is September 5, 6, and 7
it's the show.
is the quilt show, and where's it at again?
The Alliant Energy Center in Madison, Wisconsin.
In Madison. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
sure
And
that.
yeah, and last year I was surprised, Gary, last year, because I really love everything. I love anything that's handwork. And last year EGA had a really, really beautiful booth set up. So if you're into other things too, you might want to go if you just enjoy the
Yeah.
art of anything handmade. EGA had a really nice
Yeah. So
booth. So
okay,
yeah.
and after we're done recording here, I'll get the link from you, and
Okay.
I'll put it in the show notes. So
Okay. Thanks, Gary.
yeah.
Thanks, everybody. I
Thanks
love,
for
I love,
listening.
I love Fiber Talk. Hi to Cindy, Beth, and Jennifer. Hey, I'm a fangirl. What can I say?
Well, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Gary.